What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about some of the dumbest things Americans have ever said. So, today, I want to take a look at some examples of just the stupidest things that Americans have ever posted on the internet. And to be honest, knowing my fellow Americans, I can only imagine what we have here today. So let's take a look, starting with this post where an American said, "Wait, in other countries, you don't have to pay a hospital bill at all?" Well, it's already kind of funny that a lot of Americans don't realize that most of the world doesn't operate like the United States, especially when it comes to our insane healthcare system. Which, anyway, they go on to say, I could go on and on about that, but they say, "I just thought it was cheaper, but no pay at all? That's so interesting." Well, a lot of other countries have sort of universal healthcare systems where it's not necessarily free healthcare, but in a lot of other countries, people pay taxes, and then the government uses taxpayer money to fund the healthcare system so that everybody can have access to it. And it sounds wonderful, and it's blowing this American's mind right now. I think a lot of Americans don't realize that there's a lot of better systems out there for healthcare than the deranged way we do it here, that's for sure, where your whole life can be ruined just by going to the hospital to get something looked at or fixed. Anyway, so they say, "How do you prevent people from just jumping off of stuff like idiots?" What? What are they saying? What did they just say? What? Do you see this? What is this? How do you prevent people from just jumping off stuff like idiots? Are they saying? Wait a minute. I gotta wrap my mind around this. Are they saying other countries have, free healthcare? So how do? I'm sorry. I'm I'm convulsing here with this statement. I've never seen something like this. Hold on. So, because other countries have cheap, free healthcare, why don't people just jump off of stuff like idiots? What? Like, just because the healthcare is free, you're going to hurt yourself on purpose? Why would you? Somebody responded to this and they said, "Basic self-preservation instincts?" Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. What? Someone else responded to this saying, "Wait, the only reason you are not injuring yourself deliberately is because of money?" Yeah. This, are you seeing this right now? I feel like I'm going crazy. In other countries, you don't have to pay the hospital bill. Why doesn't everybody just chop their arm off and get it fixed? Because it's free. What? What? I feel like this is some kind of deranged American mindset where it's like, in America, if there was a free buffet, if there was free food, everybody would just run to it and be like, "Oh, rah, rah, rah," just stuff themselves full of food. So that mindset translates to healthcare somehow in this person's mind, where it's like, if you don't have to pay for the hospital, why don't you just jump off a bridge and break your legs? Because then you'll get to go and you don't have to pay for your treatment. Am I understanding this correctly? This is one of the dumbest things I've ever read in my life. It actually took me a second to even try to understand what this American was saying. Oh my God. All right, let's keep going. I could dissect this for. You could do a whole study on this post. You could spend years analyzing this. This is. Okay, let's keep going. This one's dumbest things Americans have ever said, for sure. This says, to remember how many feet there are in a mile, you just gotta use 5 tomatoes. 5 tomatoes sounds like 5 to 8 and there's 5,280 feet in a mile. What a. I think the stupid thing here is how ridiculous our imperial measurement system is, where it's like, to remember how many feet are in a mile, you got to come up with these crazy like word games where it's like, oh, 5 tomatoes, 5 to 8 5,280 feet in a mile. It's like, why are we doing this to ourselves in America? Then someone responded and said, to remember how many meters there are in a kilometer, you just remember 1,000. Yeah, okay. That's all right. You got us. You got us there. Because the system of measurement in the rest of the world wasn't invented by a drunk mathematician rolling dice. No kidding. Like 12 inches in a foot and 36 inches in a yard and 5,280 feet in a mile. Nobody knows how many yards are in a mile, like, and then it's just the metric system, then where it's like multiples of 10. Kilometer, 1,000 meters. I think a lot of Americans don't even realize how ridiculous it is how we're memorizing all these stupid, like, translations between the different measurements compared to the metric system. Anyway, that's that's funny. Very true. All right, more of the dumbest things Americans have said on the internet. This is a post where someone said, France's new high-speed trains were just revealed, and they look incredible. They do look incredible. Why don't we have high-speed trains in America, by the way? Man, that is really cool. Okay, Chuck, the most American name, Chuck from America says, this was probably paid for by American taxpayers through overcharging tariffs to Americans? What? With some of these posts, it's like you read it and you don't even know what the hell they're saying. You don't even know. What are they trying to say here? Because it's just... And just the pure ignorance Americans have to post this stuff publicly on the internet. Americans need to be a little more, I don't know, ashamed, for lack of a better word. Americans have a lot of confidence for being so ignorant. So France has a new high-speed train. Obviously, that was paid for by France. It's a French train. This guy's just like, this was probably paid for by American taxpayers. Just because you're upset with like the American government and how we spend our tax money and our budgets doesn't mean we paid for France's train. And what is this part about? This was probably by overcharging tariffs to Americans. I don't think this person has the faintest idea of how tariffs work, or I mean, maybe they're saying because tariffs are just collecting money from American businesses when they import goods from other countries, but that's collecting revenue from like American businesses having to pay the tariffs. The businesses might raise the money on our goods in America anyway. Nothing. This American is complaining about tariffs, and I don't even think they understand what they are or what's happening, which I think is a lot of Americans, sadly, with the tariffs. Anyway, let's keep going here. Wait, So all of the rest of the world agreed to fake a virus just for American politics? I this is a day. What a I didn't know the posts were going to be like this. What am I reading? Then someone responded, "Are we acting like that's not possible?" Like what's not possible? That we're saying that the world is pretending that the coronavirus was a thing for American politics? This is another problem a lot of Americans have where a lot of Americans think that everything revolves around America, that we are the center of the universe. And it's like, oh, everybody is just faking this pandemic because so we can debate about it in American politics. It's like millions of people died from that, by the way. Pretty disrespectful to them. And this is every country around the world deliberated with their own governments and policies over the virus. Like, not just the United States. We had our way of handling it and policies, and every other country did it how they wanted to do it. And these Americans are just convinced that the world revolves around us. It's like everybody's in on it just for American politics, because American politics are what matter. It's like, stop. Just stop. You're embarrassing yourselves. Okay. Whew. He's getting me a little worked up. Let's keep going, though, before my blood pressure gets too high. He's a president, like him or not. Are we talking about Donald Trump? He is the president, like it or not. Hashtag not my president. Someone responded and said, he is. And then that person responds and says, no, he literally is not my president. I'm Norwegian. That is so good. I think a lot of Americans forget that on the internet, it's not just America. Everybody from around the world is on the internet. So, or this American just thinks America is the only place that exists. It's like, no, Trump is not the president for the vast majority of the world. So this person's like, he's your president, like it or not. It's like, no, he's not. I'm from Norway. And this American was probably like, what? Where? You can do that? You can not be in America? What? Who's your president? What? All right, let's keep going. You guys call soccer football, and that's not normal. Oh, no. Is this intentional? Is this trying to make us mad? I'm just going to drop this here. And then they put a picture of like the globe where it shows what everybody calls football or in the rest of the world. And in America is like one of the only places that call it soccer. Apparently Australia too. Is that right? Anyway, someone responded to this American saying, it's amazing to see how few countries know that soccer is the correct term. Oh! Stop. You're embarrassing yourself. You need to be embarrassed. These Americans need to be called out and embarrassed for their own good. Seriously. It's amazing to see how other countries don't know soccer is the right term. Most of the world calls it football. We're the weird ones. America is strange that we call it soccer. Most of everyone else calls it football, from what I understand. Even I know that. Sad. It's sad when Americans are so confidently ignorant. That's what I like to call it. All right, here. This says this public bathroom stall is built with actual walls and doors. What is this? This is a nice bathroom. So an American posted this saying, "This bathroom is built with actual walls." Is that a stupid thing to say? I have to admit, in America, this is extraordinary. I'm amazed by this. Maybe this is normal in the rest of the world, but I'm kind of on the same side as the American here, where it's like, this has actual walls. Maybe that sounds stupid. Maybe that sounds stupid to a lot of people out there, but for Americans, our bathrooms are so bad. And the bathrooms, like the toilets are separated by like really bad thin plastic that barely covers you, and you can see inside the stalls and there's no privacy. So in America, our bathrooms are horrible. This is amazing. If this is what bathrooms around the world are like, I'm amazed. As an American, I'm amazed by that, I have to say. That's funny. This says, I mean, more people use imperial than metric? Ah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Chung Bungus, if that is your name, Chung Bungus. I think metric is vastly more popular for good reason. The United States is large population-wise and is more than the entirety of all countries combined. Is this guy okay? Is he all right? Did he miss did he miss a couple days at school? Is he I think Chung Bungus here needs to go back to school. And shouldn't be allowed to post. Shouldn't be. His internet license should be taken away. Cuz this is too stupid. The United States is large population-wise. It's more than the entirety of all metric countries combined? What? No one mentions China's measurement system or Russian and their qubits. Okay, somebody replied, thankfully, and said, "Sorry to burst your bubble, but India alone has a larger population than the United States. Much larger. And they use the metric system." I mean, there's so many reasons why this is so stupid. This person thinks more people use the imperial system than the metric system. The metric system is the best system used by most of the world. It makes the most sense. And the fact that Americans defend our system and think it's popular is just sad. What the heck, man? You're embarrassing us. All right, and finally, it says Norway requires 3 years of training to be a police officer. Finland requires a 3 year degree to be a police officer. I know where this is going. Germany requires 2 years of training to be a police officer. Wow. So other countries, you really have to prove yourself to be a police officer. It sounds very difficult. In the United States, you need a high school diploma and 21 weeks of training. Yeah, and the United States has had a lot of problems with police behavior because we don't have a high standard for police training. It's true. I didn't even know this about Germany, Finland, Norway. You guys all require years of higher education to be police. That makes so much sense because it's a very, very important job with a lot of responsibility. Somebody commented on this saying, "You can't compare those other cities to the United States. Not even a close comparison." Cities? Cities? Do they think Germany is a city? They think Finland is a city? And you... What? This is frying my brain. And you can't compare them to the US. Yeah, because they're way better. What? What's going on? I don't. It's difficult to bring yourself down to this level sometimes. I'm trying. But anyway, I think it's best that we leave it off with that. This was worse than I even imagined, actually. I have to say. This is supposed to be the dumbest stuff that Americans have posted on the internet, and my God, it never ceases to shock me what some Americans have to say in public for the world to see. But at least we get to come on here, take a look, and laugh at it as it deserves. But, anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of these dumb things Americans have said. That'd be funny to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.